Hey everybody, welcome back to Build a Website from Scratch with HTML and CSS. This video is called External CSS. In this lecture, we're going to learn about the third and best way to add CSS to your HTML documents, and that is external CSS. Open your code editor. In your lesson 5 folder, add an HTML file called external.html, add the doc type, basic page structure, and the title of external CSS. Alright, so let's start off by adding some HTML, and then we'll get into styling it after. So in H1, let's say external CSS. Paragraph tag. This HTML page is styled using external styles. And let's put an M dash. So instead of just a normal dash, there's also something called an M dash. It's a very long dash. And we add the M dash by typing ampersand M dash and a semicolon. It's the way to go. Let's add a level 2 heading and say 3 ways to add CSS and an ordered list so we can have numbers beside our list items. Inline CSS, internal CSS, and external CSS. Let's save it and check out our basic HTML and see what this looks like. External CSS, this page is styled using external styles. It's the way to go. Here's our M dash. 3 ways to add CSS. Inline, internal, and external CSS. Okay, so let's use external CSS to make this web page look just a little bit better. So first thing you need to do is create a new file in your lesson 5 directory called styles.css. We're going to call it styles.css. You could name it whatever, but we're going to say styles.css. It's pretty typical, and that's usually the convention that you would use to add a styles.css file. In your head tag, add a link tag, and it's literally link, not an A tag. It's a link tag. And the href will be styles.css. So we're referencing the styles.css file within our directory. That is the same directory that this external HTML file is. So because they're in the same directory, we don't have to add anything else. We don't have to add styles/styles.css or folder / whatever. We're in the same directory, so we can just reference the file straight up like this. And then let's add one more attribute called rel and style sheet, just to tell the browser that this is a style sheet. So we're linking our HTML file to our external styles.css, where we're going to add our style rules for our website. So this is great because this completely removes our CSS from our HTML file and allows us to add a whole bunch of CSS in our CSS file that's separate from HTML. So effectively separating our presentation from our meaning. So our HTML and CSS are separate documents, and they should stay that way. So we've linked it here, and the next thing to do is just use our CSS file to start making our website look better. So let's try that out. Open your styles.css file in your code editor, and you'll have a nice blank page here. And let's start by selecting the body tag. And then let's add a property called font family, and then assign the value Helvetica. This is a font that we're going to assign to this property, font family, which should technically change all the font family on our web page to Helvetica. So let's check it out in our browser. So there we go. It is a totally different font. You can see it's not using the Times New Roman font or the default font that your browser uses, and it looks just a little bit nicer. It's a little bit more modern looking. Back to our CSS. Let's add another property in your body selector called background color. Now I can add a predefined color value like blue or orange or green or red or so on and so forth, but in modern websites you don't typically use predefined color values because they're very specific, and you might want a different color than just the blue that, for example, if I said blue, I don't want this blue. What if I wanted this blue right here? This is a different blue, and if I just type blue or navy, I wouldn't get the same color. So in order for me to get the same color, I need to get its hexadecimal value. And I can get that in Photoshop using the color picker tool if you have a web design, or you can download a variety of different free tools online to get the hexadecimal value of the color that you're wanting to use. And so I'm going to use the hexadecimal value for a light gray, which is EEEEEE, or a shorthand would be EEE, because all of them are the same. All 6 digits or numbers or letters are the same, so I can do 3 of them as opposed to 6. So the background color now should be a light gray. It's just off white. You might not see it, but it is just a light gray. And let's change the color. Color is a property that selects the text color of your text on your website. And I'm going to make the color 333333, which is a dark gray, not quite black, but a darker gray, like a lighter black or a dark gray. Because they're all the same digits, I can use a short version, which is just 333. And I'm going to say that, and let's check it out. So now the text is just a little bit lighter than black. It's very subtle, but it is there. Okay, let's select your level 1 heading. And let's make the font size 50 pixels. Save that and check it out. So now it's nice and big, but I can see that there's a lot of margin on the top and the bottom of this level 1 heading. By default, the H1 gets a lot of margin, and I don't want that because I want this paragraph tag and under it to be a little bit closer. So I'm going to remove the margin completely from the H1. So margin 0 means margin 0 on the top, on the right, on the bottom, on the left. If I just put 0, all sides of the box will be margin 0. So there we go. So it's got a little bit, it's closer up to the top and the text is closer below it. Next up, the paragraph. Let's give it the font style of italic. And let's check that out. So now it's italic. And below here, let's add level 2 heading. Let's select that and give it the color of 555555 or 555. And that is kind of like just a normal kind of gray. It's a little bit darker, but it's lighter than the 333333. And the border top will be solid, 1 pixel, and 333. So the border on top of the level 2 heading will be a solid line. It will be 1 pixel wide or thick, and it will have the color of 333. So save that and let's check it out. So it's kind of a gray, and it's got a border top all along here. All right. And let's select the ordered list and give it the border bottom of solid 1 pixel 333. Save that and let's check that out. So there we go. So we have our first external style website or web page. And we have some very basic elements. We've just played around with the body, the background color, the font family, the color, font sizes, margins, font style. We've learned a little bit about hexadecimal values, and we just kind of practiced and experimented a little bit to get quite a simple looking web page, but you get the idea of how CSS works when you have it external. And so this, if you made another web page and you have the link to your styles sheet in the head, then you don't have to write these same styles out within the HTML. You only have to link it once and it will find the styles right here. So it's also efficient because these styles can be global across your entire website, saving you time. So that's it for external styles, and I will see you in the next lecture where we learn a little bit more about CSS.